YOLO amazing people of YouTube. So today I'm gonna talk to you guys about some real Pinky and the Brain shit, right? So in history, there were these certain figures that almost took over the world. I'm talking about world domination, right? But this topic isn't necessarily about world domination. It's about a viewpoint. And the viewpoint I want to talk about is that you are a person of this planet. Now, a lot of people, right? Like, look around. There's all these houses, all these cars. Most people think of themselves as this house is theirs. This little square space. This car is theirs. You know what? They're from California. You know what? They're United States citizens. And people box themselves into these categories, right? And this is a worldwide phenomenon. Like, you can be from Georgia and think like, you know, you're Georgian and you're Russian and you're this or you're that, when in reality, you're a person of this earth. And one thing that these individuals like Genghis Khan and Julius Caesar, right? Hitler, Stalin, Napoleon, whoever the fuck ever, right? All these people that decided, you know what? This square space isn't enough. I'm a person of this land. And I want to conquer it all. It's all mine. This mind state, right? And I'm not telling you to go Pinky in the Brain and try and take over the world. What I am telling you is that as an individual, as an intelligent human being on this planet, you should be able to understand as an adult that you can have more than one home. You might have been born in a specific place, not of your choosing. You were born there. In your lifetime, you can have many houses and many homes. You can have a home in California, a home in Texas, New York, a home in Canada, a home in Mexico, a home in Russia, a home in Germany, a home everywhere. Because you're a person of this planet. You are not limited to a square footage. You understand what I'm saying? You're not limited to a certain city, a certain mile, certain acres of land. Technically, wherever you stand, no one else can stand in that exact same place at the same exact time. You can choose to put your head down anywhere and anywhere in the world. And you can call that a home. Be it temporary or permanent. This was a concept that these great people like Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, you know, whether you talk about empires like the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the British Empire, the Spanish Empire, they all had this view of taking over a vast distance that they probably would never even traverse in their lifetimes. But yet they wanted to conquer it all. Put it under one flag, a one world order of sorts, right? And you can go on and continue and say, you know what? There were organizations that tried to do the same thing. Whether it be the Catholic Church, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Muslims, whether it be Buddhists, whether it be Jews, whether it be anyone and anything, right? Like, they kept trying to expand, trying to get more, right? This is something corporations understand very well. That, you know what, I don't have to sell my product in only the United States or only in North America or South America. I can sell my product worldwide, right? Like in history, we have people like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and these are household names that we all recognize. And these are people that tried to take over the world in a different form. It wasn't through religion. It wasn't through military conquest. It was through, let me control the monetary system. Let me control food and agriculture and water and materials and everything in between, right? But it all goes back to a way of thinking. A way of thinking that you are not your neighborhood. Like, I grew up in a ghetto neighborhood, right? And there's a whole bunch of neighborhood pride that comes along with that. When you grow up in the ghetto and you have very little, there's a certain amount of pride that comes with where you're from. And I don't mean in a gangbang sense. I'm talking about, like, I grew up in East Hollywood. There's a certain pride that comes with that. Someone grew up in Compton. There's a certain pride that comes with that. It's not necessarily a gangbang concept. It's that, you know what, my city was so rough and tough, and it made me who I am today. With all the goods and the bads, right? And a lot of people get caught up in the politics and the bullshit of that. And what I mean by that, they get caught up in the bullshit and politics of, oh, you know what, I can never cross this street because my life's in danger. I can never go to another city because, you know what, I'm from Hollywood. No, you know what? I can go to another city. I can go to another hood. I can go to another state. I can go to another country. I can go anywhere and everywhere because I'm a person of this land. I'm a person of the sea even. And I don't have to pick the Pacific. It could be the Atlantic. All 7 seas. It don't matter. You understand what I'm saying? It's about expanding your mind beyond the language you speak, the food you eat, the place you grew up in, the people you know. The world is vast, like the ocean is vast and plenty. And if all you're doing is eating shrimp off the bottom of the fucking sea, then you're never gonna venture out and realize, you know what, there's whales and dolphins and sharks and fish, and past them is land, and there's trees and plants and animals and chimps and gorillas and whatever, cats and dogs and the snake, the cat, the rat, right? Like, it's a vast space. You're a person of this earth. And then the great thinkers of our time, mine and your time. I'm not talking about the Genghis Khans and the Julius Caesars or you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the Napoleons or whoever, right? Like, I'm not talking about these people that thought about, oh, let me take over, you know, world domination. There's people like like Elon Musk and NASA and so many names that we probably will never know, we'll never hear about, that worked on these crazy projects, that were thinking that, you know what, I'm a person of this globe, but you know what, I still see the moon and I still see the stars, right? Like, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Right? That alone tells you that, you know what, just because we're from this globe doesn't mean it's the only home you can have. You can go visit the moon, Mars, even the sun under the right conditions, if you built the right technology, right? There's people that their mind is so vast, their imagination, their will, their drive, their understanding. And understanding is enough. A lot of times you don't even have to go visit Mars. But the fact that you understand that you can visit Earth, you can visit Mars, you can visit the moon, you can visit Jupiter, and you can visit some, you know, the third moon of Jupiter and whatever, right? Like, you're not obligated to this rock alone. That's a way of thinking that frees you. And what I mean by frees you is like slavery is a mentality. It always has been. Always. The largest slave ship is the human brain, the human mind. They told you you're free, and therefore you never try to understand, are you a slave or are you actually free? By them telling you you're just a free person and you thinking you can move around, you think you're free. How many countries have you visited? Are you allowed to visit so many countries? As an American, we have like passports that can almost get us into any country we want. But there's people from other countries that they're not first-class world citizens. Meaning that they can't go from Nigeria to the United States anytime they please. To go from Congo to Germany anytime they please. To go from the Soviet Union to America anytime they please. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's still a sense of slavery to this. And it's messed up that the world has a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth class citizens. And the only reason we have these type of citizens is because of poverty, right? Because as a small, wealthy nation of 300 million people in the United States, we can't just open the doors and let 7.5 billion people just come here at any time they wish and stay here. It doesn't work like that. Just the same way, you know, that 7.5 billion people can't go to Congo at any one time, at the same time, or go to Canada, or go to Mexico, or go to Germany, or pick the country you want. Even China can't hold 7.5 billion people trying to get in, right? We have to be diversified, right? Like, there has to be a sense of control. It's like turning on the water. If you don't have a hose connected and control where the water goes, you're just gonna turn on the fire hydrant and just blast water into fucking everything and everything, right? There has to be a sense of order. Order is not a bad thing. But that mind state that, you know what, I have to be inside this hose, and I have to be inside these walls and behind this line, within this house, right? In this car that's mine, and it's mine, right? When in reality, that's not necessarily it. I hope you get the message of what I'm trying to say. And it blows my mind that there are people in antiquity that understood that, you know what, they might be royalty of this creed or this clan of people with this certain territory. But you know what, the world is vast. So you know what, I'm gonna leave Rome and I'm gonna go up the Caucasus and go and see what I can take over and try and unify it under one flag so all my people can freely move from one place to another at their choosing, without a certain border limiting them, without a certain culture, without a certain language limiting them, right? I hope I hope I got through to you and made you hopefully see that the world is vast and you're not stuck even on this planet, even though it seems like it. So Solo Yolo Bolo, I wish you health and the understanding of how small you are and how vast the universe is, and yet you don't have to be stagnant. Solo Yolo Bolo, peace.